Greetings, English 218, Writing in the Sciences. I'm your instructor, Mike Tardif. This is my 4th year at KVCC, and I'm excited to be teaching this class. And so I want to make this video one of many in a series that I'll make this semester that sort of give you a sense of what we're doing and how it fits into the bigger picture. So this course is really about getting you to think about how writing plays into science and how science should be communicated. And so it's really an advanced technical writing course with a focus on scientific topics. And we're going to look at scientific genres of writing, that is, types of writing that are relevant to the field of science. And so that's sort of what we're up against. And to get there, we're going to have to do a number of things. And one of the cool things about working at a community college is that we have so many programs and people gaining so much new knowledge and expertise, and so this course is really about being able to share that with an array of audiences. And so you may have this picture in your mind that this course is going to be about writing lab reports and specialized reports, and certainly we will talk about that. But the mark of really good scientific writing is that it can sort of penetrate many different audiences and that it can impact many different audiences, and that's really the spirit with which I'm going to approach this class. There are probably a handful of you in this class that will go on to conduct your own research and do those types of things, and that's great, and I think this course will be a perfect preparation for that. But many of you will work directly with clients and patients, and therefore we need to really practice communicating to those folks, and that's really what this first week is all about. So you've started with an email assignment, and this is not a professional writing class, but it's no secret that the amount of emails that change hands or are exchanged in a given day is astronomical, and it's only growing sort of exponentially. And so it's really important for us to write really good emails, and so you guys are practicing that now, and hopefully you've had a chance to read about good email writing. But a lot of business, even in a healthcare field or in a science capacity, takes place over email. So it's important to think about how we write emails, from the subject line to the way that we format the text, to the length of our emails, to the structure and order of information we present in our emails. And so we just want to be really thoughtful about how we use email. As writing becomes more and more digitally mediated and we spend more time on Twitter and on Facebook and texting, those practices and those habits of mine tend to seep into our email writing. But we have to remember that email is a professional channel of communication, and that it fits into many, in the way that we use it and leverage it impacts people's day-to-day working lives. And so we want to be cognizant of that, and we want to be rhetorical about that. And to this point, most of the 90% of the emails I've received have been really good in that way. You have a strong subject line, good salutation, good clear prose that's broken up into chunks. Nobody wants to open an email and see a ginormous text wall. They want to see something that looks penetrable, something that they can read and take action with, or and understand quickly. They can understand what its relevance to them as the reader is. So we'll do more work with email as the semester goes on, but I thought it would be a nice way for us to see who's in the class and what people's aspirations are. One of the things that always really impresses me is really two things. One is the geographic range that KVCC tends to pull from, and we pull from all corners of the state, it seems like, from Rangeley to Rockland to Brunswick to Newport to Bangor. We pull from all over the place, so it's kind of cool to see that this is a hub for people. And it's also cool to see what people's aspirations are and where they're coming from. Most of you have some experience working in a science field or a field that is inflected by science, a healthcare field or an engineering field or a trades field, and that's really cool, and I hope that you can bring that knowledge to bear on the class, because that's really important. You guys already know so many things that are going to be helpful within this class, many of which you learned outside of the formal classroom setting, which is really important. So we're working on emails. We're trying to be more thoughtful email writers, and that's going to be really important, because at the end of the day, that helps people's work be more efficient. And then you're going to do a little exercise to round out the week, where you're going to read a scientific journal article, and it's about a topic that's near and dear to many people's hearts. No pun intended. It's about wine and heart health, and so it's a research report. It's written for an audience of experts, and I want you to read it, and I want you to reflect on the experience of reading it, because that's something that we're going to kind of come back to a lot. And I want you to think really strategically about, if you were working with the person writing this report, what types of recommendations might you make? And I'm interested to see your thoughts on that. I think it's an important thing to do in the semester to start with something that's really scientific, really technical, and to reflect on the decisions that the writer made while they were writing them, and to sort of think about why those decisions were made the way that they were. I think that's going to play into your other small assignment in the week, which is to think about the definition of science and the relationship between writing and science. I don't mean to be too meta with this, but I think it's important to zoom out and to think about what we mean when we say science. It's easy to think about textbooks and it's easy to think about the fields within science. But what is the enterprise of science? What is the goal of science? And how does writing play a role in that larger human intellectual enterprise that is science? Because I think that will give us some insight into how to approach writing within the sciences. And I think that that exercise taken in tandem with your experience reading a really technical and really dense academic journal article will give us some perspective about what the goals of science are. And that's a conversation we will continue. And I will address in my next video lecture. But think about everything you've ever learned about science, going back to the scientific method, thinking about the things that you've read in science classes, thinking about the way that you've used science in your careers. I know that some of you are CNAs, and we have a pharmacy technician in the class. So how do you interact with science? What types of science communications are you a part of? And what role does writing play in advancing science or sharing science or preserving science? Because I think that's going to be really helpful. Just to zoom back out for a second, this semester we're going to be doing a lot of work with technical information and scientific information, and we're going to be trying to disseminate that information as productively and as usefully as we can to a wide range of audiences. In some cases, we're going to be writing to patients and clients, folks without technical knowledge. In some cases, we're going to be writing to fellow experts. And so we're going to have to be very dexterous and very agile in the way that we work with language, the way that we work with detail, the way that we work with organization and approach. Along the way, we're going to learn some formal techniques. We're going to learn about the parts and pieces and expectations of a formal scientific report. We're going to learn about APA citation, which is the bane of many people, including myself's existence. But we're going to try to think about those things, again, through the lens of what is the goal of science? What are we doing in the scientific enterprise? And how can writing play a part in that? So that's really what we're up against. It's a relatively abstract introduction to the course, I know, but things will become much more tangible and concrete as we move along. You're going to be reading a lot of scientific work in this class and summarizing it and repackaging it and representing it, so you can expect to do that. But at the end of the day, I hope that this course makes you really comfortable dealing with technical, specialized information, and I hope that you're able to share that productively with a wide range of audiences. So that's really the Cliff's Notes version of the class. If you have any questions or concerns, I always want you to feel comfortable texting, calling, or emailing me. Online classes can be a relatively solitary sort of experience, so I want you to know that I'm always here to help you, and I will do that in any way that I can. That information is available on the syllabus. Speaking of which, if you have any questions about the syllabus and the way the course will be structured and run, please let me answer those questions for you as soon as possible. It's important for you to know the syllabus really well. It gives you a sense of the structures and infrastructures of the class, and it gives you a sense of how to approach the class. It always amazes me that students don't take the time to read the syllabus, especially things that are really important to their life, like the grading schedule. Not all assignments in this course are going to be created equally, so it's important for you to allocate your time and resources proportionate to the impact of that assignment on the grade. So spend some time with that, answer the questions on the syllabus quiz, and feel free to shoot me any additional questions you might have about the course. I look forward to working with you throughout the semester and giving you feedback on your writing and learning from you, no doubt. All right, thanks a lot.